Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to be showing you a SoloQ strat here on DE Overpass. Now, this is going to seem very simple, and it is. However, very few people can actually counter it, and you can actually win complete halves based on this, even in Global Elite, even at a pretty high level. Now, the first one you're going to find here is going to be this smoke, one-way smoke here at Party, where you simply throw a smoke, it lands on that middle step right here, and you can jump right on over it, and you'll be able to see towards T-stairs in a one-way and get some pretty easy kills here. Now, people will start to spam this, and they will try and nade it, so that smoke only will work, 1 or 2 or 3 times a half. However, you can start to fake that smoke as well by throwing it a little bit lower, a little bit off to the side, and then actually shooting them through the side of it if you throw it correctly. And there's really not much they can do about that. You can get a ton of kills based on that smoke. However, what I really want to be showing you here is not that smoke, however, it's an op peek that you're going to be doing at Party. Now, I have seen quite a few people do that smoke there and peek over the smoke. That's fairly standard. However, I've only seen one singular other player go for this op peek here. Now, you can do this op peek if you have any spawn that's reasonably good. You just don't need one that's, positioned for B. Anywhere around here should be fine, and you'll beat them towards this area. You jump right up onto the bench and then peek over through this little gap here. And what you're going to find is as you strafe across, you're going to see people if they drop and try and jump over to the playground there. You can land some flick shots on them, and then you can fall right back after taking a shot with a ton of information gathered as to where they are on the map. And not only that, but I have literally not a single time been killed by an opper on those T-stairs. The one time I've been killed here was by someone with a deagle crouching, and he one-deagged me from back there. And I've done this peek hundreds of times onto people on T-stairs. Now, there are 2 ways that I have died in that spot, and those 2 ways are going to be I've been blinded and then lost myself and wasn't able to fall back into the doorway, which is actually very easy, but it will happen on occasion if you do this enough. And the second one is that people will strafe wide. Now, you will get the drop on them. You can take the first shot. However, if you miss the first shot, you're definitely going to die, so you have to recognize that. Now, if they do that peek quite often, you can simply throw a flash right over and then peek out and kill them as they're peeking wide there. Very simple, very easy. That's why most people don't do that wide peek there. It's very risky, and if they do, you can just line up the next time for a pretty easy kill anyways. Now, what you can do there here at Party is you go for that first pick, you can get a pretty easy kill there, and then you can just fall back into bathrooms. And the greatest part about that Party peek is you still have the whole round to do. You can go anywhere you want in bathrooms, which is my favorite area to get picks, and you hold an angle kind of like this. You can hold any other angle, and you can actually completely shut down entire T sides just by doing this peek quite often and playing against a team that doesn't really know how to deal with it. So when I'm on CT side, I'll do that one-way smoke a couple times, I'll peek over here a couple times, and I'll play some angles like this, or I'll throw fake smokes, and I'll play bathrooms nearly the whole half, aggressive bathrooms and Party. And I found even against really good opponents, I've definitely been able to do this. Now, of course, you are going to have to analyze, is this team dealing with this, which I have had a few teams that basically just nade stacked Party or naded and flashed it nearly every round, and of course I couldn't go aggressive on Party, but I am getting the job done, that I'm wasting their nades and flashes, and that I can simply fall back and hold a safe angle here by bathrooms and do quite well. Now, one final thing to show you here is going to be a pretty simple pistol strat. Now, what teams do on the terrorist side quite often is simply a 5-man rush B. So what I'll do is I'll tell my team 4-man stack B, and I'll do the same Party peek. Now, the great thing about this on pistol round is if they're going towards long A or towards mid, you'll see people on T-stairs about here. You'll see them jump over to playground, and so you can spot them out, rotate back. You have plenty of time given that information to stack towards A site, or at least rotate a couple players over and play it safely. And if they go B, you've got 4 there, and not only that, but you'll spot that they're going B from over here, call it, and then you can actually flank if you feel comfortable with that. However, of course, you are going to be open to dying to people watching the flank, but I have very rarely seen people actually watching the flank here, so my standard is to push towards those T-stairs when I'm playing in a pug. However, if I was in a scrim, I might play it a little bit more safely. I might get up here and kind of wait for a second, make sure they're going B, or I might just rotate back through CT spawn to play it completely safe. However, this party boost is something a lot of people know about, but I don't think nearly enough people actually utilize to the fullest extent. So, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.